Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, we're diving back into the post-10th anniversary treasure map, the Calm Sea against Mihawk and Kuro and Jango for the 5+ PKA Mihawk. And in today's video, I've tweaked my buildable teams for you guys to help you guys take down the final boss and the Intrusion without the Cornelio support and without utilizing a USOPP as friend captain. Now, the teams that you guys will see as the final boss teams and the Intrusion team can still use an USOPP captain. However, there is a direct replacement in the new Gear 5 Int Luffy. So in today's video, we are going in with the assumption that you guys have some of the anniversary characters. If you guys don't, we're going to talk about some replacements, but utilizing Int Gear 5 Luffy is a great option if you guys cannot find USOPP friend captains. Because look, I definitely hear you guys. I know the mid-game player, the early game player, establishing your friends list can be very challenging. Don't ever be afraid to go to New World, to Grand Line or East Blue if you guys are struggling for a month of treasure map. It's never something to feel bad about. It's a great place to farm materials, especially if you have these new boosters that give extra drops. But hopefully this particular video helps you guys out with taking down New World. And if it does, belt the like button for me, hit the subscribe button and do all that good stuff. Belt the notification button bell as well so you don't miss out on any of the OPTC content. So, starting off with Mihawk, like I said, I am going in with the assumption that you guys do have Ace, and obviously bringing Luffy. Now, having a Luffy friend captain, obviously having Luffy yourself, makes finding Luffy a lot easier. So, if you set him as a reserve captain, you can then switch across, and it works very, very nicely. Starting off with the Mihawk fight, as I mentioned, if you guys do not have Ace, I would highly recommend using Luffy as your captain, bringing a friend captain Ace, and then replacing this final spot with a bind removing unit. If you guys do not have Ace, I repeat, if you do not have Ace, it is going to be a little bit challenging. So I would highly recommend bringing an Ace friend captain, and obviously that is going to affect your team building because you cannot bring USOPP. But if you do have your own Ace, you don't need to find a bind removing replacement. You do have the Yamato, which you definitely can use, but you do have some other options in Nami and Carrot, which is another really, really good option. But like I said, you can definitely use Yamato as a bind remover instead of a burn remover. But if you have this exact team, you can use Usopp as a friend captain. You can use Luffy if you can't find an Usopp. If you guys are just trying to do your treasure map runs, you just can't be bothered resetting for Usopp friend captains, or you just don't have many Usopp friend captains, this particular team, without any support to work, that's the team. Let's dive on in. Now, something you need to remember with this particular team is that Yamato and Blackbeard are the only two units getting the double buff. Ace doesn't boost Luffy. Luffy doesn't boost Ace. However, because Yamato and Blackbeard are Powerhouse and Dex units, they are getting the extra buff from both captains, which works very, very nicely. Now, on stage 2, we come up against Mihawk, who's going to give us 6 turns of burn, as well as 6 turns of threshold. Now, if you guys are using a friend captain Ace, you'll have to use your Luffy here. If you guys are running the team like this, you can use your friend captain Luffy. If you're using an USOPP friend captain, you can use the USOPP friend captain to remove the threshold. Depending on what you're using and what's going on, is going to depend on what units that you are going to be using. Now, if you don't need Yamato, I repeat, if you do not need Yamato for the final stage to remove the binds, you can use her here to remove the burn. But no matter which Luffy you use, or utilizing the Usopp as a friend captain, all you need to do is use that threshold remover, and you will be able to kill this stage. Like, you'll be fine. You can actually swap Yamato and Blackbeard to the bottom so they get the Wano Orbs too. That'll be nicer if you don't have that removal. But getting Luffy on this turn means that you are going to have a attack boost to carry into the final stage. Like I said, whether it's your own, whether it's a friend captain, whether it's Usopp, it's going to work hunky-dory. Usopp will not have his superclass, so you'll have the carryover of the small attack and orb boost, but that's not going to be a problem. It's, like I said, it just depends on what your team looks like. I'm going to use my Yamato here to remove the burn, but if you guys have no other bind remover, as you can see, I'm running the double Luffy strat here. You can use Yamato later because you can just tap through the burn. You don't have to hit perfects, obviously, But you do want to try and get rid of some of these One orbs. That is definitely going to be something we want to do, because we want to have some Dex orbs available to remove the barrier on the final stage. Now, on the final stage, if you guys get your friend captain binded and it's ace, you need to make sure that you remove the bind first, especially if you have Luffy on the team too. Luffy's actually going to rotate the... Well, actually, it's not really going to matter too much. Luffy's going to rotate the orbs into ints if you're running it the way that I'm running it. But if you're running it as the other variation, you are going to want to make sure that you have the Dex orbs to break the barrier. So we're going to use the Ace special first. That's going to remove the paralysis orbs. Very important that we do that, because we don't want to get stuck with those paralysis orbs. Then we're going to use the Luffy special. He's going to remove the bind. Unfortunately, that's going to give us int orbs, but that's okay, because we actually have Blackbeard on this particular team. That Luffy, man. That Luffy special where you can't rotate orbs always bites me in the ass. Like, always bites me in the ass. Ideally, you want to use Blackbeard, I guess. You can't even do that, because Luffy just gives you a full board of int orbs. It's just very frustrating, man. It's a very frustrating ability, but a very good one at the same time. Don't stress though. Use the Mihawk special as well, just literally because. Don't stress though, because you do have a rush ability of Ace, thanks to double Luffy's. If you're running it differently than me, you'll have the Dex orbs as well. But you do have a bunch of barrier pen units here, and you have enough buffs to just absolutely devour Mihawk. So there you guys go. It still works, no matter how janky it actually is. You just need to make sure that the Blackbeard has max barrier pen, and you do want to make sure that your Ace has max barrier pen as well. He's another barrier pen unit. Even without bypassing that barrier, you're going to be fine. Remember, if you remove the barrier too, they do a whole bunch of nasty stuff, so you really don't want to do that. If you have Usopp as a friend captain as well, like, you're going to have more barrier pen, so that works out pretty hunky-dory there. So very nice stuff, getting the Intrusion fight done, even though it was a little bit janky with the whole orb swapping ability of Luffy. Let me know what you guys think of that ability. Do you find it more beneficial, or do you find it more detrimental when you are building your teams? Have you ever been doing runs where it sort of just cucks you, kind of like what it tried to do just then, and makes things just a little bit harder than it needed to be, rather than actually helping you out with that actual bind removal? Remember though, if you guys don't have, like, if you're using, but even still, even if you use Luffy before Ace on that particular team, you want to use Luffy to remove that threshold, I guess. So you'll just have another bind remover. So if you had say Carrot and Nami, or if you were using Yamato there, you would be absolutely fine, because you could just, like, remove the bind. You're not having that Luffy ability. But like I said, let me know if you guys find it more detrimental or beneficial down below. As for the rest of the buildable teams, they all kind of look very, very similar. So we'll quickly run through them for you guys once again. You know what? I'll probably just fast forward to the end. Actually, no, I'll let it rock. We'll chat about it. We'll let the video rock. Just in case you guys are actually just checking out this video for the first time, and you didn't actually check out the buildable videos in general. We have Zoro here as a wave clear. I did move Zoro across to this particular team rather than using Vista, mainly because, like, this team has so much damage regardless, and Vista has type advantage on the next stage. So as long as you have 5+ Luffy, he's going to be an absolute dreamboat. If you guys don't have 5+ Luffy, if you guys are missing that unit, you can still use the free-to-play Sanji and Nami treasure map unit. If you guys are old school players, you just need to replace Nami Karina, then run any other captain. Like, it's going to be fine. Just remember, don't use that Luffy as a captain if you guys are doing your team building, because you need to make sure that he's a sub to bypass that stun mechanic. It's a little bit annoying that he just doesn't do it in his captain, but nevertheless, like, he's fine. He's a very, very good unit, actually. He just kind of suffers from the fact that his name is Luffy. If he was any other unit, I feel like he would just be so much better. However, I do love that we have a Chomp Chomp Gear 5 Luffy in the game. It does make me very, very happy. So, Moving on to the second fight now. I did move Vista onto this team. Powerhouse characters get cooldowns anyway, so like he's still getting the cooldowns that he needs from the quest at the beginning. Plus, the ship being boosted just basically gives every special boosted at the start. I do have the 1.35 booster Luffy on this team. I just thought, hey, I wasn't using him anywhere else. Let's just chuck him on the team. I also have the 5-star Yamato, the unevolved 6+ Yamato. 5+ Yamato. If you guys didn't save an extra copy, don't stress. It's just any other point booster. I literally just put a dex unit here. Same with Luffy. If you didn't keep an unevolved copy, just literally use any other point booster. I just threw on my highest point boosters for you guys. But the big change that I did make from the buildable teams is that I put on Hiyori. I wasn't using Hiyori initially. I was using Cracker. That's a free-to-play option for you guys. But look, if you guys want to make it a lot faster, you don't have to worry about the block orb rotation and then rotating the block orb yourself. I think I also had Carrot Wonder as an attack booster on this team too, which you don't really need. As you can see, like, you've just got so much damage. But up to you guys. If you want more points, run a point booster. If you guys want it to be faster, run Hiyori. Potato, really. So it works very nicely. The Prone fight's not too challenging. I think that's the big gimmick of having the 2 typings is going to sort of throw people when they are trying to team build. But just as you guys saw there, like, your boy Lucci just hit so damn hard that it didn't really matter. Moving on to the Sugar fight, we are just running the exact same team as we saw before. Gear 5 makes this ridiculously easy. It's really, really fun using Gear 5 in this particular manner. It's one of my favorite ways to use Gear 5. Probably not the most efficient, if I'm completely honest. But for me, it's the most fun. He's great because he can remove bind and special reverse. 2 of the most prevalent mechanics, I feel. I feel like special reverse and bind, they throw into every piece of content nowadays. So just having Gear 5 6-star at your disposal makes life very, very easy. Also, the way I play Treasure Map, I'm not just sitting here like staring at the screen 24/7. So having that little bit of extra time with specials and whatnot isn't the end of the world in my books. But obviously there is going to be faster ways to get this done. Having characters that can give you like a full board of rainbow orbs at the start of the fight, just like we did with Hiyori, so you don't have to worry about the orb switch. And then having like other characters that can just do things a little bit quicker. But Gear 5, he's just really good for this fight. Bypassing the threshold, bypassing the barriers, bypassing the bind and the special reverse. Plus, if you bring 2 of them, you can actually just get bypass the 100,000 damage because you will just basically not die. You could still use the chopper special if you want to. If you guys only have 1 Gear 5, say you have to bring a friend captain, you're trying the same strat. You could just use chopper for a full heal. That'll definitely work. Hopefully there's a lot of Gear 5s floating around because I do think that he was probably the most sought after legend since he's released back in August last year. So hopefully you guys can find lots of Gear 5s or have Gear 5 yourself. He's definitely a character I recommend a lot of people start with. Moving on to the Page 1 and Ulti fight. I actually think I'm going to swap over and utilize this particular team as my team. Just because it works so damn well. Having the double Luffy with the Despair removal and the Paralysis removal makes life really, really nice. The only thing is if you don't find a level Limit Break 5 evolved Limit Break expanded Luffy friend captain, you might struggle with the extra turns of Despair and the extra turns of the extra turns of Despair and the extra turns of Paralysis. Rayleigh's great because he can remove 7 turns of Paralysis, but it's mainly the Despair that you really want to actually take care of. Remember, you actually can't use Rayleigh on your Luffy, so that's something to note. So you have to use other Despair removers as well. On top of that, I think I can probably find a way to get a better wave clearer than Izo. Izo does seem a little bit slow, but like I said, Rayleigh makes his final fight so ridiculous, just bypassing the defensive effects. The way I was doing it was with Luffy and then using a Nami friend captain, but having to find like the Nami friend captain and sort of suss that out has been a little bit of a hindrance on my timing, on top of the fact that like that Luffy just works so well. He's so good for that fight. So good. You could also use lore as well, the 6+ lore if you guys have that. But moving on to Kuro and Jango now, this is another one that we had to tweak the team for, and obviously we will not be using an Usopp as a friend captain here. So the team looks like this. Once again, we are focusing on Gear 5, 6 plus, not 6 plus, Gear 5, Super Sugo into Luffy. We're going to bring him as a frame captain. And for this team, we're actually utilizing Roger as our captain. Now, I am using a particular support on Yamato. That's going to give us base stats on the final stage. Because if you guys are using double Luffy, you don't want to have base stats. It's going to trigger an interrupt. It's going to be very, very bad for your teams. You want Roger for some special bind, but if you don't have Roger, you can just run Luffy as your captain and then bring something like Carrot and Nami over Roger, just in case you guys are missing that, or any other special bind removal. But for us, we're going to bring Roger. We're going to use a friend captain Luffy. Remember, as I said at the start of this video as well, you can run USOPP with this Roger team. It's definitely doable. If you guys can find USOPPs and you're still looking for a team, this particular team will actually work. So if you don't have Ace, I did replace Ace with Luffy, because you could just have some threshold removal. I did state in my initial video that if you don't have Ace, you can just replace Ace with a threshold remover. So I've just gone and done that with Luffy, because Luffy's literally the next best thing. Nami Karina is another option too. You can definitely use Nami Karina. And again, if you don't have Usopp friend captains, just bring good old Gear 5 Luffy. As for this entire team, Roger is obviously buffing everyone, and then Luffy's buffing everyone except for Mihawk. Not a problem. Not a problem at all, because Mihawk, he's here for the damage reduction. On stage 2, we are going to get slot binded, and we get 6 turns of burn. Once again, this is where the Yamato special is so ridiculously valuable, because her double special activation can remove the slot bind, it can remove the burn, and then you can actually use Blackbeard. Blackbeard is going to reduce the damage nullification to 70%. And you might think, damn, that's kind of bad, but like that 70% is, or what the HP of this unit, it's actually very easy to kill here. Like, it's not a problem whatsoever. So I should have probably tapped with Mihawk first, but look, here we are. As you can see, very, very easy to kill. You have one or orbs, you've got increased damage taken on the enemy. Like, you just have a lot going for you. On the final stage, you are going to come up against Kuro and Jango. They're going to throw up 10 turns of threshold. 10 turns. They also have a damage limiter for 70%. Special bind, your left-hand column, have 6 turns of damage reduction. Now, with Blackbeard, we get the carryover of the increased damage taken. That works very nicely, plus the tap timing buff. What we're going to do here is we're going to utilize our Roger special first. Roger is actually going to give us an attack boost, an orb boost, and a color affinity boost, because Roger is our captain. And then we can use our Luffy specials. Remember, if you don't have a support that does base stats, whether it be the support on Yamato or be the support on Luffy, the rogue support, like, you just need to find a way to get that on. Like, it has to happen. Like, it has to happen. Now, Luffy's going to completely remove the threshold. So if you guys don't use your own Luffy and you're just bringing a friend captain, that's going to work absolutely fine. And then you can utilize the special of Mihawk to remove the damage reduction. So you don't even need that other Luffy special, now that I'm looking at it. So you don't actually need that base stat support. You just need to use Luffy before you use Roger. That'll work absolutely fine. I actually thought Luffy only did 7 turns of threshold. So look, here we are. With that, you have a rush. Do you have a rush? No, you don't have the rush. But you do have the super tandem of Roger. But remember, you can only do 70% of the HP. And then if you pass a turn, they have resilience. Well, Luffy actually delays as well, just like Usopp does. Whoa! Everyone's like, yo, Usopp's so good! No, he only sets target. This Luffy literally does everything that Usopp does, but better. It's crazy. But there you guys go. No Usopps getting it done. No Cornelia support. But Gear 5, Luffy is the man of the hour to help you guys clear the new world treasure map run. Let me know what you guys are running in the comment section below. While you're down there, belt the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. If you guys can find Usopp friend captains, use Usopp friend captains. You're going to get more drops. You're going to get more rewards. It just works a lot nicer. But if you guys can't, these teams should help you out. And if they do, belt the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.